ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out an action film from 1997. That movie is Double Team. I'm gonna tell you guys, I do not know a lot about this movie. I do happen to remember seeing ads for it way back in 1997. Unfortunately, my fucking memory goes as far as, hey, I happen to remember seeing ads for some stupid action movie with Dennis Rodman and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and I would love to tell you guys anything else about it. Unfortunately, the back of the box doesn't even help, because we have here I am not even joking about this, a one-sentence summary on the back. Allow me to read this for you. Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman team up as a world-class counter-terrorist and his flamboyant but deadly weapons dealer in this explosive action-adventure thriller. That is all it says on the back for a plot summary. So, I have no fucking clue outside of apparently Van Damme is a counter-terrorist and Rodman is his weapons dealer. That's all that I have to go with. And I'm going to assume, because the cover also mentions Mickey fucking Rourke. At the very top, they have Rourke's last name. I'm going to assume that he is the villain. I'm just going to take a wild shot there. I have no earthly clue if this thing is going to be any fucking good or not. And the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Double Team. So, wait a minute here. So that guy was killed because he was locked inside his own car with a bomb strapped to the back of his seat. He wasn't tied to the seat. He was somehow locked inside his own car and couldn't unlock the door. And I'm going to take a wild guess this movie is not going to try to explain how the fuck that works in any way, shape, or form. How the fuck do you get locked inside your own car? I'm really curious about that, guys. It's kind of sort of bugging me a bit. Okay, so let me see if I understand this. So, this colony is for former agents, operatives, counter-fucking-terrorists, what have you, who have gone soft, or no longer able to do their job. Yet, even though they're unable to do their fucking job, they are too valuable to kill. So Jack's been sent here because he couldn't kill the only terrorist on the planet he seems to have any motherfucking knowledge of. A terrorist who, I should mention, is kind of shit at his job to begin with. What fucking value does Jack have for this colony? I'm really kind of curious, guys. Okay, that is just a little bit sick. I was not expecting a scene where Jean-Claude Van Damme peels the fucking skin off his thumb. Frankly, that honestly is the closest thing this movie's given us to anything interesting or sort of cool or even just a little bit different, so at least it gave me something interesting. I just sort of wish that the rest of the movie was even in the slightest way interesting, but so far we haven't, we just haven't gotten that. Alright guys, I would like to say this right now. Do you want to know what would probably make this movie a little bit more watchable? If there was even the slightest bit of chemistry between Rodman and Van Damme. But there isn't. My god, those two have absolutely no on-screen chemistry. And anytime that the two of them have to share a scene and they have to share dialogue, it comes off as awkward and stilted, and that's probably because I know that neither of them can fucking act. And it just sort of makes the whole thing just painful. Okay, guys, I have learned something watching this. Now, I knew going into this that Rodman was terrible at fights because I've seen the man attempt and fail at fucking, wrestling. Apparently when you give him multiple takes, it somehow is worse than anything he ever did live in a fucking wrestling ring. That is nothing shy as shocking, guys. Well, guys, that was Double Team. Let's shut that off. Oh, boy. Okay. Where to start? Well, the writing, I guess, is a pretty good, start. I think a problem with this movie, and it is a general problem with tons of action movies out there, is that the writing in this thing is fucking horrible. Now, mind you guys, now in most cases, action films are able to get away with having terrible writing because they don't bother to add a whole lot of depth, and they don't really try to add depth. It's just, hey, looky action, and you can totally just run with it. But when a movie attempts to make you think, when a fucking action movie actually attempts to think and actually tries to give you a little bit more than your standard action fare, it has to try extra hard in order to make the writing work, and the writing here is just too lazy, and it winds up leaving you with mountains and mountains of questions. Allow me to try to run through some of these, because these are just this guy's is just a small number of the questions I have upon finishing this movie. Number one, what exactly is it that makes fucking Stavros such a horrible, evil terrorist who is feared by everyone? Because you see him commit one act of genuine terrorism across the entire film, and that is he plants a bomb on the back of a guy's car seat, and apparently is able to lock his victim inside the car, which can't happen on any modern car anywhere ever. The guy has 60 seconds, which thankfully the movie speeds up to about 4 seconds, and then the car explodes, because apparently the guy doesn't know how to open a door, or Stavros was able to, jam the fucking door shut. I don't know. Frankly, I don't fucking care either. That really is his one and only thing, and yet he's played up. Stavros is played up as this awful fucking terrorist who is feared by everybody. He blows up one car, and then he shoots up a fucking carnival, but the only reason why he shoots up the carnival is because Jack had a Delta Force team there who fired first. So then everything goes completely fucking tits up. And then, and it then leads to this big, small fight between Jack and Stavros, where Stavros is opening fire and is 5 feet away and can't hit Jack for shit, which makes me wonder if the only thing that Stavros is able to do is blow up one car, and he can't hit anything from 5 feet out. What exactly is it that makes him such a viable threat as a terrorist? I would really like to know this. All right. Now, moving past that, when Stavros thinks he's killed, Jack is then sent to this fucking colony, and the colony is apparently where counter-terrorists go, where counter-terrorists and CIA agents and KGB operatives and every other kind of secret agent bullshit thing are all sent when they are too soft to continue to do their fucking job. Okay. We are then told that every single person who is part of the colony has got a guardian who is tasked with hunting them down if they find a way to somehow escape the colony. Now, let me see if I understand this. So if person A is in the colony and they somehow escape, which is played up as this absolutely impossible feat, which Jack is able to make look as if it takes zero effort at all, then his fucking guardian has to go and hunt him down. Now, technically, his guardian has just left the fucking colony, so then wouldn't his guardian's guardian then have to also leave the colony in order to follow that guardian, and it would just lead to this gigantic chain where then there's nobody on the fucking colony, at which point, why even bother going back when everybody is free now? And exactly how the hell did his fucking guardian get off of the colony? Was he honestly just kind of sort of fucking, air fucking lifted out, or did he also have to, or did he have to escape the same way that Jack did? That much there is never really explained. Moreover, if it seriously is such a horrible, horrible crime to leave the fucking colony, why the hell is the colony helping Jack later in the film? All of this, guys, and tons more is just brought up, and you just wonder it as you're watching the film, and the movie makes zero effort to explain any of this. One more, and this sort of goes back to the whole, you are sent to the colony when you are too soft and you're too, weak-willed to actually do your fucking job as a counter-terrorist or secret agent or what have you. Then how the fuck are you expected to then all of a sudden grow all fucking hard again and hunt down the person you are the guardian for if said person escapes the fucking colony? You were sent there because you basically can't cut it as a secret agent anymore. So all of a sudden now you grow a fucking pair and you're able to just go batshit and go after him. None of this is ever fucking explained. And of course, this movie benefits if you're able to just shut your fucking brain off, and then none of that is going to matter to you at all. Now, that, guys, is really the problem. Well, there is one other problem, and it is that this movie attempts to add depth beyond the fucking colony and beyond all the other things I have already questioned. They actually try to add a little bit of character depth to our villain, Stavros. The problem is that the depth is just so shallow, and they are trying to play it up as this deep, deep thing. Except, really, guys, it basically starts, Stavros tells Quinn, our hero Jack, tells him, I once had a son, and my son was 6, which tells me maybe he became a terrorist because his son was killed. And then at the very end of the film, Stavros brings it up again, and he implies that it was Jack who killed his son, which means that Stavros was probably already a terrorist when his son died, because Jack was only going after Stavros because Stavros was like public enemy number fucking 1 on the planet because he was such a, awful, horrible terrorist. So what exactly then does the whole son thing have to... Unless that honestly is why Stavros is going after Jack's wife, but he doesn't go after Jack's wife until after he thinks that Jack is dead and Jack is sent to the colony. So why bring up the whole son thing? Why exactly... Wow. I really, guys, I'm just trying to, process that more, and it doesn't fucking gel. It is not... It just isn't working. So, yeah, guys, writing here, guys, is just a train wreck. Part of it is also made worse by the fact that any time that anyone is speaking to Yaz, and Yaz is Dennis fucking Rodman's character, it is nothing short of a miracle. I even know the character's name. I think it's maybe said all of 3 times in the entire film. Anytime that someone is talking to Yaz, or anytime that Yaz has dialogue, it almost always has some kind of a pun on basketball. I get it, okay? I get it that Rodman was a basketball player, but goddamn it, did we seriously need all of the references to free throws, air balls, rebounds, and coming off of the bench and all this other stupid shit? Did we seriously need all of that? Because all of it felt overly forced. Which, I guess, kind of sums up all of the dialogue in this thing, guys. The fucking dialogue here is just really forced, or it's just really hollow and kind of dead. And it really just doesn't give you a reason to watch, especially since even as an action film, this movie is incredibly light on fucking action. Because, guys, when you go into a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, the one thing you really want to see is you want to see Van Damme kick people. He has maybe 4 fights across the entire film. 5 if we happen to count the 2 fucking second shot of him kicking a tiger, which, by the way, I'm just going to assume that it was done digitally because it looked fucking terrible. But still, if we seriously want to count him kicking a tiger and then being chased by said tiger as a fight, then that brings it up to 5. Oh, by the way, he also is fighting the tiger in a motherfucking minefield, because why the fuck not? And of course, then the final fight against Stavros is held in the same minefield. Guys, writing here was fucking awful. I seriously, guys, I guys have spent quite a bit of time here just talking about writing. I could probably spend hours talking about the problems this thing has in terms of writing. This thing is a fucking disaster in terms of writing. So what about the acting? Well, guys, I went into this knowing that Jean-Claude Van Damme is barely able to fucking act. Okay, it's like I have never gone into a Jean-Claude Van Damme film and then walked out of it and said, the man can honestly act. No, it is the fact that he can't act, which actually makes stuff like Street Fighter and fucking Bloodsport actually kind of watchable in a really cheesy fashion. Now that also is because in both of those films we have a cast who is able to hold him up. Here, nobody's putting in any fucking effort, and I wasn't expecting acting from Rodman because as I stated earlier, I have seen Rodman attempt to wrestle. I've also seen Rodman attempt to cut promos in wrestling, and he sucks at that. And cutting promos is mainly acting. So I fucking knew that he couldn't act going in. My God, his acting is terrible in this thing. And the one that shocks me the most is Mickey fucking Rourke. Rourke, guys, I know is a fucking talented actor. The man, honestly, has just floored me in stuff like Sin City, The Wrestler, tons of other films. The man can act. What the fuck happened here? He just absolutely just phones it in, puts in zero fucking effort, which honestly is sort of the whole cast's problem, is we basically have a cast who essentially, who probably all just looked at the script and said, well, at least I'm fucking getting, paid, and then decided to just, phone it in for the entirety of the film. So acting here is just horrible. Special effects. I'm going to mention special effects. We do have a couple of bits where we have like flames and explosions digitally put into shots. And it looks just awful. We have that shot of Van Damme kicking a fucking tiger, which kind of sort of looks as if it was also done digitally, and done very poorly digitally, I should mention. And when I say that, what I fucking mean is it actually happens to look as if Van Damme was shot here and the tiger was shot separately, and they did something to cause the tiger to kind of sort of like jolt as fucking if the tiger had been kicked. And then they then tried to layer those shots over, and it looked awful. Special effects here, guys, are just and mind you, those actually guys are pretty much it, outside of things like fucking like squibs and all of that shit, which is done fine. It's very difficult to fuck up squibs. It is just when they try to do shit digitally, it looks terrible. CG on the fucking colony, because apparently the way that the colony is able to fight fucking terrorism is everybody basically has to sit around this gigantic motherfucking like hologram and watch fucking CNN, and the holograms look friggin' terrible, and the CG in there looks fucking awful. Whole thing just looks hideous in terms of special effects. I will say, though, and this also kind of ties into special effects, they really must have gotten a discount on stunt glass, because, my God, I have never seen so many friggin' windows shattered, because people either just randomly say fuck it and kick them, people just say fuck it and punch them, or people are throwing through them. You, seriously, guys, could probably make a fucking drinking game out of every instance of windows shattering, and you would probably be completely wasted by maybe about the halfway point. You would probably be passed out before the fucking credits hit. So yeah, at least there was that. Sound mix here, oh God. I want to talk about dubbing in dialogue. It seems that about half of Dennis Rodman's dialogue was dubbed in. And when they dubbed it in, they didn't fucking bother to make sure that his mouth is moving in those shots. So I don't know, perhaps perhaps honestly maybe Yaz is supposed to be able to communicate through fucking, you know, like ESP, telepathy kind of thing. I really don't know. But there are at least 3 shots where he is supposed to be talking and his mouth isn't fucking moving and we can hear him talk. Why? Because they didn't bother to find a shot where his mouth is moving in order to loop in the, you know, dialogue. There also are shots where we have dialogue looped in, you know, from actors, and we have we have a shot which is there specifically so we don't see their mouth move, and then the shot is very visibly slowed the fuck down in order to squeeze that line in there, and it looks cheap. It really fucking does. Sound mix here, beyond that, though, is fine. Beyond, honestly, the questionable fucking ADR that was put in here. Everything else here, in terms of sound mix, is fine, and the score is okay. Camera work here is fine. Lighting here is good. I do want to talk about product placement. I really don't get to talk about product placement much. But see, that, guys, is because oftentimes movies are not as blatant with their product placement as this is. I have not seen a movie this fucking blatant with product placement since I watched Leonard Part 6. Okay? I do not know why every person who goes to the colony is given a very fancy, very expensive Omega watch where the face is only the fucking logo. Well, I guess honestly it is so that way then the camera's able to shoot directly on the watch and all you see is the logo. I don't know why there just happens to be a Coca-Cola vending, you know, machine there for everyone to hide behind in order to shield themselves from a blast at the very end of the film. I don't know why the only fucking drink on Earth in this thing is fucking Coca-Cola. Coke honestly must have spent a ton of money in order to get all of that product placement put in there. And they also must have gotten a sweet deal on those fucking watches if, like I said, every person on the colony is supposed to wear one of these goddamn watches. And the product placement, guys, is just so blatant that it seriously will take you out of the fucking film. Ultimately, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Double Team? No, I really can't. Now, mind you, now, if you are a fan of absolutely brain-dead, mindless action films, then you're probably going to love this thing. As long, honestly, as you're able to shut your fucking brain off for 90 minutes and just be able to just, you know, like, rock and roll through it, then you will actually have fun with the fucking action here, what little action is actually here. And all of that there is fine. However, though, if you honestly are looking for a little bit of plot, if you seriously want something interesting to go with your action, this thing does not offer anything outside of a couple of questionable shots, which actually happen to make Jean-Claude Van Damme look as if he is fucking a bathtub. Yes, guys, there actually is a scene where he basically is like powerlifting a bathtub, and his fucking grunting and the camera angles, it all actually kind of sort of looks like he's violating the fucking, you know, bathtub. That honestly is like one of the few scenes I looked at and I thought it was kind of sort of funny exactly how they, you know, shot it, because I know for a fact that wasn't what they were shooting for, but god damn it, we got a scene of Van Damme fucking a bathtub. I don't care what anybody fucking says. That, honestly, guys, is really about the only interesting thing this movie has outside of action is Van Damme is fucking a bathtub. That's it. Just there's no way, guys, I can recommend this thing unless you're into mindless action films, and even then, there are tons of better mindless action films out there, and you wouldn't have to deal with the terrible, terrible acting and the terrible fighting from Dennis fucking Rodman. God damn. Dennis Rodman has tried his hand at wrestling, where he only gets one fucking shot at it. He sucks there. When you film an action movie, I'm going to assume that you get multiple takes, and somehow his fighting is worse here than in any wrestling match I have ever seen him in, and that just blows my motherfucking mind. No, guys, I cannot recommend this. There are so many better action movies out there. You do not have to sit down and watch this thing. Now, Double Team came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Robert, and please, guys, by all means, swing on over to Robert's profile page on Amazon and read read a handful of the product reviews he has written over there. Robert, I thank you. I actually was sort of curious about this thing when it first came out, and it took me this long to finally, sit down and watch it, and it wasn't nearly as good as I had hoped, but I would not have known if you hadn't sent it in, and for that I thank you once more, guys. Please swing on over to Robert's profile on fucking Amazon and read and just go and read a couple of his reviews, please. Now, guys, I really am in the mood for a mindless action movie, and I know for a fact I have a couple on my shelf. First Blood, Part 2. Perfect. I am going to go watch First Blood Part 2. No, fuck that. I actually am going to go watch First Blood, then watch First Blood Part 2. Damn it. That honestly is sounding really good right now. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.